know my ex, and that makes it all feel complicated. Yeah. You ever heard
You
that?
know who I'm getting into though? You know who I'm getting into now, bro?
Who?
Paula Abdul.
Oh, you're just now getting into Paula Abdul? She's only been out for,
Well,
she's been out for literal decades.
I just remember mom playing them right on the radio in a cassette.
Oh, speaking of, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Sure.
So the other day, Lauren and I were driving to the park and Alanis Morissette came on and
shit.
Lauren pointed this out and goes, like, didn't your mom listen to Alanis Morissette a lot? And I was like, yes. When Chris
every
and I
morning,
were both kids, it was either Melissa Etheridge or Alanis Morissette. It was basically all the man-hating music compilation that mom would play every single morning.
I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, I'm a child, I'm a mother, I'm a sinner, I'm a saint. I do not mean things.
Oh, do you remember this one? Not Alanis Morissette, but you remember this one? Come through my window.
I'll be home soon.
I'll be home. I'm coming home. Which is, I mean, it's like lesbian and Alanis Morissette, who literally
should be a lesbian
young men, and I think it's just because she wants to like essentially control their lives. You know, she was married to Ryan Reynolds.
Really?
Alanis Morissette was married to Ryan Reynolds when he was young. That's my whole point. She's like a predator. She's like Demi Moore, you know?
Ooh, yeah. Child predator.
Those are always doomed to fail. Like those relationships. I mean, there's no sustainability in that. I mean, these ladies are so old and set in their ways. It's like, come on. These young, hunky men have to live their lives. You're not going to live your life with someone who's like getting ready to go through menopause. Like, come on. But Alanis Morissette, dude, yeah, one of her songs came on the other day, and like Lauren just looked over at me. She's like, "Did your mom play that all the time when you were younger?" I was like, "Did I tell you that?" Because it is accurate. It's 100% accurate. Yeah,
I mean, good hits, man. Good hits.
Not really. Alanis Morissette is not a good singer. I don't know, and she's Canadian, so 2 strikes. Third strike is she has a horse face. I don't know. I don't think she's a good singer. Like,
don't you think all of her songs are just? I feel like all of her songs are just about maple syrup and Canadian bacon.
Yeah, I mean, literally and lyrically in her songs, you get the undertone of certain sweets and meats from Canada.
I just can't relate. You know.
Her songs are so angsty. It's like, who wronged you so bad that you created multiple albums with the same like level of emotion?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have any happy songs. There's no sunshine and rainbows. It's like, I'm going to put a knife to your throat, you cocksucking fuck. And that's like every one of her songs has those really deep emotional undertones. And none of them, like, there's not one of them where it's just like, hey, is everything okay?
Hey.
Not one.
If there was a female group from the 90s and they had a sleepover, here's who I would imagine would be at the sleepover. Alanis Morissette, Melissa Etheridge,
who's like the lesbian friend that everyone knows she's a lesbian, but they still tolerate it.
And I don't know why this one, but the Cranberries.
Oh, I got one. Let me add one to the mix. That's going to be like it'll be the odd one out, but it's like, everybody wants to be these girls, but no one really wants to admit it. Ace of Base. Oh, yeah.
Ace of Base.
Yeah. And then, because you always have to have some ethnic diversity in there.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper.
I was about to say Salt and Pepper, like when they want to sneak out of the house and go do some fucking shit and smoke weed. They call Salt and Pepper.
Yep.
That's so true.
Yeah, that's like, dude, that honestly, that's the lineup of every like 90s high school show.
Yeah.
Bars like,
and I'm sure like back at school, like the next Monday, all of them see Salt and Pepper in the hallways.
Yeah.
And then like Salt and Pepper's like, yo, what's up, girl? It's like, don't talk to me. I don't know you. Yeah. You know, just cause like, but it's like, but we just hung out over the weekend.
Right.
But it's like, so then there's like this angst and like aggression towards one another, because they don't want to admit in public that they're friends. Right.
Yeah. Definitely not. Yeah, together in their clique, but in the public it gets weird, you know?
Yeah.
Like they don't know each other. And
then like Melissa Etheridge, everybody's like, when are you gonna get a boyfriend?
Yeah. All the while.
And she's like, I just haven't found the right guy yet. Guys are fucking dweebs.
Yeah, but she has a more of a coarse voice when she says it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. She does. I mean, she sounds, I don't know if lesbians make certain sounds, but you could ping that one.
Yeah.
She's pretty obvious.
She's talking to like Melissa Etheridge, and she's like, I think I want to change my name to Wolfgang. And Melissa Etheridge is like, what?
Hey, you know what I just realized in the room that you're in?
What?
I don't think there's a light in there.
No, it's going to get dark.
I think there's a lamp. You may want to flick.
Hold on, I got a better idea. I'm going to use my phone.
Hold it on your chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah, that works. Yeah, you can do that. You don't do it now because it looks creepy, but yeah, you can definitely do that as the sun starts to go down.
Yeah.
So kind of a bummer. Let's just say it now. We had a podcast guest lined up for today, and there was difficulties in him getting where he needed to go to be on. So we were texting back and forth, and we just decided. He was like, hey man, like give me a half an hour. And Chris is like, I can't do it because Chris thinks that like family time and time with his kids is somehow more important than this interview, which I strongly disagree. But nonetheless, he'll be on next week. So we're just basically flip-flopping episodes. So the anticipation continues. It's one that I was super stoked about. And Chris knows I was really stressed out earlier. I was like throwing shit around. Just trying to get ready. So part of that stress was because this one it was supposed to be and will be a very good podcast with a very important guest. And now it's delayed another week, which is frustrating. But at the same time, I totally understand.
And it's like perfect timing for it. I'm just going to tell who it is. It's perfect timing for it too, just with everything that's gone on at the end of December and the riots and stuff. But we have Donald J. Trump on the show next week.
Sure did.
So I'm sure there's a lot to say. He reached out to us.
Every other platform has shut him down, but not this one, baby.
Not this one.
Not this one. Not this time. I was going to tell you something, and somehow I forgot. It slipped my mind. It seemed relatively important, but clearly was not that important.
You can compliment me then.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to have you tell people what you told me earlier about the EP Carrillo cigar and I won't name the name of our local cigar lounge that we go to or the people who run it, but tell the audience, Chris, what you told me, because this very much is in alignment with my predictions around the winner of Cigar Aficionado's #1 cigar of the year.
I visited XYZ Cigar Shop earlier this week, and I approached the owners as I typically do, and we made small chit-chat, asked me if I had continued some of my chapters in my fantasy novel, because we're basically in a book club, and he goes, hey, why don't you look over there by the counter? And I look over by the counter, and I was like, what, the 5-pack of my father's cigars? He's like, no, to the left. And I'm like, the Dr. Pepper you added in the case? He's like, no, to a little bit right of that. And I'm like, okay. And I see a blue wooden box that's open with cigars laying in it. And I immediately come to the conclusion. I was like, holy shit. I was like, are those the pledges? And he goes, yes, they are. Now, because we're in limited supply of them, we're only allowing consumers to buy one of each Vitola, and that's it. So I bought 2, but as I'm at the counter checking out, I told him, I was like, well, you know, the thing about this is, I was like, you guys ordered these a long time ago, say 3.5 to 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, my brother had a conspiracy theory that this was all intentional, that these cigars weren't meant to come out on time. They were meant to come out at the release of the #1 cigar by Cigar Aficionado. And lo and behold, He then continues to tell me this. He's like, well, the first time we tried to make orders on them, they said, we don't know if we'll be able to get them to you because you haven't been a supplier of ours for very long, and we have limited supply, so you might not get any at all. They reached back out in September or something like that, and they were like, okay, you can have some now. And they're like, well, we want 20 boxes of the pledges. And EP was like, no, you can have 10. And even at that time, a month later when they were checking, or a month or two later after they were checking up on the order, quote unquote, hearing it here, they told them that, hey, this is the number one cigar that's coming out this year from Cigar Aficionado. Do not tell anyone. How crazy.
I would just like to say one thing. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. That essentially proves what I had suggested the entire time.
Oh, quote unquote, they said, you didn't hear this from us, but the pledge is the number one cigar by Cigar Aficionado.
Yeah. It's interesting, right?
That was more quote unquote.
Yeah. Well, looks like the prediction and conspiracy theory of which I'd tethered together through all the evidence suggested that I was right the entire time. And there's proof. The proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Yep.
And I don't know if I'm disappointed or it just kind of reaffirms everything that I already knew. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like it was hard to be disappointed, but it's also at the same time, it's smarmy and disingenuous, and I don't like that. That's the part I think to me. It's like if that is true, right?
Yeah.
Speculation, of course, until we really know. But I'd say based upon the evidence and the conversation, the dialogue that you had, there's a lot to suggest that. And one, obviously, I know these two people very well that own the cigar shop, as do you. And they wouldn't be anyone who would lie to our faces. I do have full confidence in that. So there you go.
Yeah. And I had the luxury of smoking one Thursday.
Did you like it?
I did like it. I did.
Did you get your hands on that new Plasencia yet?
Yeah, the green one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll review that one because we got to reserve that for a podcast.
Damn it, I didn't review it.
You like smoked it and didn't fucking review it?
No, it was like $20 too.
You're an idiot. It's a new cigar. It's a 2021 release.
I know.
That's so dumb. Why would you do that? Why would you even do that?
Because I smoked it like 2 months ago.
That's fucking retarded. You're an idiot. Well, you kind of get another one. I fucking Brian got one out of the back and got one for me the last time. So I was fortunate enough to get something that wasn't technically supposed to be available, but I got it anyway. So that's something I'm very excited about reviewing because obviously I love Plasencia.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
It certainly does. Let's get into it. So we are going to, as I always have a backup plan, one of my all-time favorite segments, and probably one of the most popular ones we do, and we haven't done one in a while, is the highly, highly liked and coveted, overrated, underrated.
Yep. And this one is a special episode because it is with a live audience. Yes, everyone applaud. Yes, this one is live. Thank you, everyone. Now quiet.
Yeah, so this will be a brand edition. So the last one that we did, I think, was a cigar edition. So we haven't done a brand edition one in a long time because there's only so many brands. It'd be to the point where we go through all the brands. You know what I mean? There's going to be a point where it just ends. Yeah. But these are probably my favorite episodes to record. So I was really excited to kind of, although we don't get to do the highly anticipated interview that we had for today, certainly get to do one of my favorite episodes. So.
We got to do people, bro. People in the industry, overrated, underrated.
Not a bad idea. Owners, cigar owners, overrated, underrated. Oh, dude, talk about, oh man, that would just, wowzers. Think about that. Think about the tension that would garner. We'd be in trouble.
I know.
Because you can't say every one of them's great. All right, let's get into it. So finally, I can do something a little cool with this episode, and I can share the wonderful wheel of brands. Louisiana is not the first brand. So you good, Chris? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? You ready?
I'm ready, bro. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Drew Estate. Whoa, that's a good one to start on. Man, Drew Estate as a starter. How rough is that? This may be the only one that we do today because there's so much to say.
This is a mixed bag, baby.
It is. Honestly, this is a troubling one, and I feel like you could get quite a riveting debate out of this, out of Drew Estate as a whole. I'll begin with this. One of the things that I hate about Drew Estate, that rhyme, didn't do that intentionally. One of the things that I can't stand about Drew Estate is that, and I get it to a sense, it's like they're a marketing juggernaut. Like there's no other way to say it. They're great with marketing, probably one of the best in the industry. But one of the things that actually really irks me about Drew Estate as a whole is that they tend to be overzealous with the marketing aspect of what they do. It seems to kind of, I'd say, trample over the factors of the blend. And I say this about a lot of manufacturers sometimes, like CAO is a perfect example where it's marketing before blend. I think Drew Estate has gotten to that a little bit more, where you're just executing on certain sticks in the industry and you're using that brand recognition just to push things out. But are you really intentionally creating something good that will be well liked by the masses? Because they are, let's make no bones about it, they are a love-hate brand. Like, we both know that. They are very much a love-hate brand. They aren't a full support love brand by everybody in the industry. So with that being said, I kind of look at it and I go, okay, is Drew Estate a brand that I think creates good cigars and has mechanisms in place to create good cigars? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do they always hit that mark? Not always. I think there's a lack of consistency in the lines, which sometimes there should be, but it's like the disparity between what's good and what's bad by Drew Estate is what has me kind of irked, because I look at, and this is minus the acid infusion stuff, right? Like, I put that in its whole other, that's in its category on its own. But I mean, like, in terms of, you have some of these like fucking weird muat shit, this Kentucky fire cured stuff, this kind of low end, let me take these scraps and build something. It's like, I would say, like elementary level types of tobacco. And then you have things like the Liga series or like Ratzilla, like everything that kind of falls in with like the T52 blends and some of the higher echelon stuff, which some brands create that spectrum. But with like Drew Estate, I think that the wideness of the spectrum sometimes causes me pause a little bit when I look at how they want to represent themselves as a brand. It's like, I kind of get the idea of, let's create something for everybody. Let's make sure we have something on lineup for everybody. But at the same time, you create this Pappy Van Winkle cigar that's like fucking $13, $14 and it's terrible. So then there's like that too, you know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I just don't like about the brand. But there's also plenty to say about the brand that I do like. They make some incredible cigars. I actually smoked, I smoked and reviewed the T52 for the first time the other night, 2 nights ago. I've never reviewed the T52.
Really?
I smoked it and reviewed it. That cigar is incredible. It's so fucking good. So then I think about like T52 and I think about the Ratzilla and even the 9 to a degree, which isn't my favorite anymore. I would put the T52 above the 9. But there's all these great high-end cigars that they do so well. And then there's just all this other gimmicky bullshit that they have at the bottom end of it. It's like, just be one or the other. Do like what CAO did. Just be garbage all across the board and then it's all good. But they'll do something really great and then they don't. It's kind of like a temperamental quarterback. You know, it's like you have these quarterbacks in the NFL, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, who can one game throw for 5 touchdowns and fucking 500 yards and the next game throw 4 interceptions for 129 yards. And you go, where's the fucking guy from last week? Drew Estate kind of reminds me of that kind of brand. And it's kind of like a love-hate thing. I don't know. There's more that I don't like under the Drew Estate umbrella than I do, but the stuff that I really do like, I really, really, really like it. So I don't know. It's a weird one for me.
Yeah. I think I share all those sentiments. I think generally speaking, I think it's overrated. I think a blanket statement would say overrated.
Wow, you just
But
got right to it, didn't you? You were just like
yeah,
overrated.
yeah. I mean, there's hidden gems in them in there as well. Like I think that's the purpose of the whole like overrated, underrated when it's cigar specific. But if I had to blend everything that I've had or that they've made and mix them together into a stew,
Right.
is that stew good or is that stew shit? And
Right.
I'm saying
Shitty stew.
that for the price specifically, I ain't gonna pay for that stew.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when they use the powerhouse marketing tactics and strategies they have to brand something like the egg, which is atrociously just a fucking garbage cigar, and sell it for $12+. You know what I mean? Like that's my point. If you sold the egg for $4, it would be reasonable. That's in line. But you take this garbage tobacco and you mold it into this ungodly fucking shape that just captures the attention and imagination of all these dum-dums. And all these dum-dums go to the fucking brick and mortars or humidors or online and they spend $12 for this thing in a coffin case with some fucking like paper mache around it or whatever the fuck they put in there.
Tobacco, shredded tobacco.
And then you suggest that it's worth $12 and it just simply is not worth $12. Now, is it worth $12? Yeah, for the people who pay for it. But I would argue that those people are stupid. And that's the kind of shit that drives me nuts. It's like you use those marketing tactics to kind of like pull one over on people. And, it's kind of like, I don't blame you. The shame on those people for being dumb. But at the same time, it's just like, get back to like doing the good shit, like the core lines, like the ones where everybody knows you're most well represented, like get back to that stuff. Cause that's the stuff like the enthusiasts of the world and the aficionados of the world and the people who really cherish cigars. That's the stuff they like. They're not reaching, in the mixed bag of Drew Estate goods looking for the fucking egg, you know what I mean? Or the mua, like any sort of Kentucky fire cured shit that you throw into your lineup. They're not looking for that. Some people are. Again, they're idiots. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you. I'd say slightly overrated, but if I ever saw the point where like Drew Estate was just like, fuck the marketing shit behind it and fuck the fact that we're run by Swisher Sweets, who I'm sure puts some sort of quote on stuff that they had to produce every year in so many lines of like output. If they just got back to like doing what fucking Drew Estate does best and making fucking dope ass cigars, like rewind, even fucking 6, 7, 8 years ago and further before that, I'd probably say underrated, or I'd say appropriate at least. But yeah, I tend to agree with you. I'd say slightly overrated.
Yeah, and the thing is like just name things that are very literal to the product you're making. Like if it was the egg, I would just call it diaper bag. It's just shit.
Diaper bag. I love that. You're starting to look really grainy in your image. What's that?
I know.
It's like artifacting. Is there a lamp on that table by you? Because you could always flick that on and like
there is.
Point that
okay.
Yourself.
Yeah, let me try. Hold on.
Yeah, see if that works. Because you're like, dude, it's like your image is trying to suck out all the light it possibly can. I'm curious to see what happens if you. Is it working?
We're close.
How does it need to be plugged in?
Yep.
Oh, that's weird.
Apparently I can't match holes.
There you heard it right here on the podcast. Chris has difficulties matching holes, which wouldn't be.
There are some Edison style bulbs, but it appears that they don't work.
There's a switch on the cord.
I know.
Did you flick that switch?
I flipped it.
Oh boy. It's gonna start getting dark.
Hold on. Maybe I could turn on the TV behind me.
It looks so grainy. Is there like a closet light or something in there?
Maybe.
I don't know why there's not a light in that bedroom. It's kind of freaky. Yeah, that closet light doesn't do a whole lot, does it? It does a little bit. Just on the left side of your body. Yeah, that's a horrific looking fucking image for anybody who's there you go. For anyone who's watching the podcast on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. That's much better. That's much better with the light on your face. Yeah. It'd be nice if you had a holder, but you don't. That's so much better. Looks
I
great.
look like Opie from the what is it? The Griffith Show? What is it?
Griffith Show? Yeah.
Andy Griffith. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of do. Your arm's gonna start to get sore after a while. So I can't wait for this. Okay, so we both suggesting that Drew Estate is overrated in terms of a brand in totality.
Yes.
Cool. All right, let's do this. Let's move on to the next one, shall we?
Sure.
All right. So we ended with Drew Estate. Let's get into the next one.
Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Nub.
All right, there you have it. Let's talk about Nub as a brand. Nub is actually kind of a subsidiary of Oliva. And what is there to say about Nub? Has Nub even released anything in the recent like fucking 7 years?
Nope.
All right, Nub has one good cigar, and it's called
the Cameroon.
It's actually a really good cigar, and I don't like fat vitolas, but I don't mind a short fat vitola. You know what I mean? When you talk about in totality tobacco, right? Let's talk about like square footage or volume. I kind of like the Nub. You know what I mean? It's like a larger vitola. It's a larger ring gauge, but certainly shorter in stature. So most of them are in like a 4 and a
They're
quarter.
4 by like 60.
And I don't mind that. I actually kind of like smoking the Nub. It's actually enjoyable, and I like a good Cameroon cigar. So I think if we were to say, hey, the only thing Nub created was the Cameroon, I'd say, yeah, for sure. But Nub is not a good brand as a whole. I mean, most of their cigars, they're Connecticut, they're Maduro. They're just not good cigars. And I would say in total in the lineup, the only good one is the Cameroon. And don't forget too that they have their Cafe Series stuff. They have some like limited releases that come out of the holidays, like a mint one, and there's like a pumpkin spice one. So yeah, Nub is just not a good brand. And it's one that I don't think that they really concentrate on a whole lot, especially anymore. You know what I mean? It's like the Nub Cameroon made Cigar Aficionado's top 25 years back. And then it's like after that, they just ceased to do anything. It's like, I don't even know if they're still making Nub cigars. And if they are, they're probably fairly limited. So this one's easy for me. I would say Nub is very overrated.
Yeah. I mean, the price point's not bad on them though, right?
Mm-mm. Yeah. When you can score that Cameroon for like $4.50, if you can get it sub $5, it's a pretty good deal because it's a good cigar and they smoke forever.
Yeah.
They actually made pretty well too. It's just, I mean, the rest of the stuff is just not good. It's just not good stuff.
Yeah.
So do we both collectively agree, no dispute between the two of us, that the Nub line as a whole is overrated?
I think a Nub's been said about it.
I love it. All right, let's get into the next one, shall we?
Cindy, come on down.
Oh, Ohana. This is a weird one because I've only had like 2 Ohana cigars. And they're
sounds Hawaiian.
Yeah. So I got these cigars when, do you remember when Janus Tobacco, when Shad was still doing Janus Tobacco?
Yeah.
I got them from Janus's site. And actually, weirdly enough, I just bought coffee off of his new site because he sells whole bean coffee. So I bought whole bean coffee and it's delicious. Ohana's a weird one for me. And actually, I was excited to smoke these because it was like kind of a quiet boutique brand.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like them. I was hoping I would like them because I really like some of that more like hidden boutique stuff. Mm-hmm. There just seems to be a purity and concentration around like the product itself. But I thought the cigars were like pretty so-so. I wasn't like a huge fan. So for me, Ohana is, I would say, not extremely popular, in my opinion, overrated.
I'll say overrated because I've never had them. But you know what's funny, Corey? I slightly feel like the son that was caught masturbating under his bed sheets at night and his parents walked in and flashed a light on him.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You've always looked like that kid.
Mom, no, I wouldn't do anything.
You've never not looked like that person.
That's true.
Every
I look like a
chronic expression you make has something to do with coming.
I look like a chronic masturbator.
Yes, you do. And truth be told, you are a chronic masturbator. So
like my dick has calluses.
Gross. All right. So that was an easy one since Chris had nothing to provide and share about the brand itself. So let's get into the next one, shall we?
Yes. Oh, what is it?
Oh, Black Birdies. Oh, this is a tough one for me.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of good, not exceptional, but there's a lot of good cigars in the lineup. I think the what is it? The Unkind?
Yeah.
Formerly the Crow is pretty solid.
Formerly the Raven, but close.
Or Raven, sorry. The Finch is pretty solid with the Sumatran.
Yeah. I just smoked one of those, and I just smoked a Rook not too long ago as well.
But generally speaking, the price point is good on them.
Yeah.
I don't know. A little gimmicky to say.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's looking for a theme, right? Everybody's looking for a standout, right?
Yeah.
Like, who's done birds? But
right, who's done birds? Who's done snow animals?
You know, I get it.
What if we came out with a brand that was like, it was something similar to that? It wasn't birds, but it was like different types of lizards.
Yeah.
We could do that.
And for us, it was like, who's done dicks? You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Who's really explored the cigar dick market? Hard as the hot ticket. By the way, the knockout is officially sold out.
Sold out. Yeah.
Really
cool. I had people reach out to me and go, it's sold out.
I have so many people who are like, can I still get this? And I'm like, nope, I can't get it. Yeah. It's like, I told Alex he reserved some packs for us. He said, just put them out there and get some of them sold. So they're officially done, which is fucking crazy. He said that it was pretty fucking awesome. So thank you for everybody who bought those. Cheap plug.
I think they're kind of at the right level because I think the price point's there, even though the brand's a bit gimmicky. But I think they've got some pretty decent lineup cigars that are worth the price.
Yeah, they were kind of one that back in 2019 came in hot and heavy on the market just pre-IPCPR, right? That's when you first started hearing about them.
Yeah.
And they came out with the Crow and the Unkind were the first two that I recognized and understood to be available, and which was Raven at the time. And I liked that cigar, actually. I thought it was pretty good. And these have more of that Dominican profile. They're rolled in the Dominican. The owner, Jonas, we had him on the podcast to kind of discuss everything that they were doing around the brand and for everything that he had that wanted to do intentionality wise. He's pretty much set sail with those expectations that he created for the brand and himself to move those cigars forward. So, fast forward a year and a half or however long that's been, they're still on the market. They're hitting more shelves. I agree with you in terms of like, they're not the best cigars everywhere that I've ever had. And from a branding perspective, it is a little gimmicky. I kind of like it though. And I even admitted and made mention when they first kind of came out with the way that their labels looked in the font. Like I'm somebody who loves consistency.
Yeah.
Especially in a brand. Like one of the things that I actually like about EP Carrillo as a whole is that EP Carrillo with like the La Historia and the Encore Majestic and the new Pledge is that they all have some brand consistency, right? Which I really like, and I admire that. So I like those kinds of things. I just think that the cigars themselves are okay. They're not my favorite. Every once in a while, I get a hair up my ass and want to smoke one of those Unkinds, and I really enjoy it when I smoke it. But I'd say overall in the total profile, they just kind of hover right in the middle. It's nothing that's going to blow your face off by any means. But I would say decent, cool, progressive branding has probably helped surge some of their cigars into the marketplace. But I don't think with what they've currently come out with and what they have is like, they're never going to make a top list of like best cigars, not with what they're doing currently today. But if you're actively getting cigars on the shelves and you're able to support it by who you are as a manufacturer and who you are as a brand, then that's fucking awesome. And people enjoy it. That's all that matters. I will say appropriate for the industry.
Yeah.
I don't think they're overrated or underrated, and I think time will tell.
Yeah, that's true. They're still new. They're still relatively new.
I mean, very new, all things considered. So,
yeah.
All right. So that ends it for Blackbird Cigars. Let's do like 2 more.
Okay.
And then we'll call it a day.
Okay. You know what? It looks like I'm filming my first episode of like Ghost Encounters.
Yeah, it does. It's really dark in there now. I noticed. All right, here we go.
Where will it land?
Oh,
Carrillo. Is it Carrillo?
Yeah, it's Carrillo, Chris.
It's Ep Carrillo.
Ep Carrillo. So, hold on.
Here's what I'll say. Based on what we told you today, there is some fuduttery
right
happening in this industry with this brand. Yeah. There's some kerfuffling.
Yeah. By the way, that's not the only news I've received about that cigar that makes what it is troubling. But I haven't told you what someone else told me about it.
But here's what I'll say. Now smoking it, finally I can speak intelligently about it. You can't hate the price, especially for what you get. A $10 or $11 to $12 stick is very respectable for what it is. Sure, there's some weird kerfuffling going on. Sure, we always see them in Cigar Aficionado.
What does kerfuffling mean?
That's a word I made up. But kerfuffle is to be foolish and conniving. That's a kerfuffle.
Is it really?
No, I just made up the word.
Okay.
But from a brand perspective, for what they make, I think they're honestly like right. I think they hit the mark in the industry. But then I think about like all of the press and publicity around it, and that whole shindig of like really hammering on how like the system, you know, like really taking advantage of the machine that is the cigar industry.
Right.
Does raise some eyebrows.
Yeah, for sure. I don't disagree with that.
But generally as a brand, if I was to strip away all of that and just look at the brand and the price and the quality of the cigars, I would say they're right where they probably should be.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a brand I love because I love the cigars, right? Like even the stuff that's like not as popular, I think is usually pretty good. La Historia, one of my all-time favorites, and I really enjoyed the Pledge. But yeah, it's like what in recent events have caused me to, I don't know, there's a painful suggestion that your kerfuffling, as you say, has kind of eroded my, I would say the purity of the brand overall for myself. So and it's weird because there's going to be like, people will be like, dude, you're just stupid. Like, shut up. That's not what it is. But it's like, I really believe it. and that changes my opinion about things.
Obviously there's nothing illegal about it. It's just kind of
smarmy.
Yeah. Squirmy. Yeah.
So I got this message, and that's what I was looking up. I had this message from somebody I know in the industry, and it was right after I posted a picture of the cigar and asked people what they thought about it. And this was just in the recent month, actually just around a month ago. This person said, it's painted. Didn't want to blow it up on mainstream media. I enjoyed the cigar, just not the tanned lips. I said, no shit, really. Said, wet your finger and rub the cigar. Some of the color will transfer to your fingers. I was like, yikes, I didn't have that problem, but I believe you. He goes, hard to get a cigar that dark, but I'm sure are less than others, but still was a good smoke. I stopped when I noticed the color transfer a little over halfway. So his suggestion was that the rich, deep, dark color on the cigar was not natural tobacco and was actually painted on the cigar using some sort of probably oil extraction or something like that.
Ooh, like a tanning oil.
Yeah. I mean, something that obviously you can ingest as a human being, but he's still making the suggestion that the cigar isn't 100% pure. Kind of like when people always say that, that Drew Estate adds certain smoke burning oils or high temp oils to their cigars to make more smoke production, right? Like that's not a common thing that you hear when it comes to like the Liga stuff. So there's that piece of it too.
Yeah.
I would say overall though, because here's the thing. It's like, you got to think about what EP Carrillo creates for themselves, which I love. And then you got to think about the stuff they create for other people like John Huber at Crown Heads, which most of the EP Carrillo blends that he has are fucking outstanding. So it's like, all things considered in the track record, I still love the brand, minus the fact that I think I'm dead on when it comes to this conspiracy theory. And there's a lot clearly coming to light that would suggest that I'm correct, which makes me not want to be correct. So that's frustrating. But yeah, I would still have to say, I'm going to say appropriate for the market. I would certainly have said before underrated, but they're not really underrated because they're so popular. You know what I mean? Like, you get Cigar Aficionado, you get number 2 in 2014, number 1 in 2018, and number 1 in 2021. You're not by any stretch underrated. Everybody knows you. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to say appropriate for the market.
I'm with you on that. Dude, I'm starting to look like Bela Lugosi in the old Dracula movies. Like, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Don't I pull it? It's crazy.
It is weird. When it's dead on, you can see the giant outline of your nose. You lie dead on again. And your nose looks just massive.
I'm flaring my nostrils right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's do one more. EP Carrillo is a good one. We probably could have ended there, but let's do one more.
Let's bring this show to a shit storm.
Yeah. How much you want to bet this next one's just gonna not be a fun one?
Probably.
I feel like we ended on good ones the last few times.
Yeah.
So let's see. You ready?
Yep. What will it be? What will it be?
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad. Terrible.
CLE. Which has, you've got like the Asylum that's a part of that, the Aroa line as a whole, like just a whole family of fucking tobacco.
They're a little pricey.
Yeah, kind of, but not really. You know, one of the things that I actually really like that they do?
What?
I like that they put the thin paper.
I do like the vellum. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that they have it on the cigars because it offers a sense of protection and it's kind of got a design flair to it as well. Like with their font, I like the real classic font. Mm-hmm. I like that they do that. So I'm a fan of that for sure. I think their cigars are good. I think they're good. They utilize a ton of Honduran tobacco, which I love. Honduran just gives that nice, sweet smoothness. There's a little bit of tang to it. It's very bright. And I like that. So they utilize a lot of that. I'm a fan and I don't smoke it often enough. Admittedly, I don't smoke their stuff often enough. Yeah. So that's a miss on my part, but all things considered, I actually really like it. Their stuff's good.
I do too. And I think what I even like best about them is they're Ohio boys, right? Like they opened up shop in the Cleveland airport.
Gonna punch you in the face.
Cleveland Airport. What do you think they're CLE, man? Stands for Cleveland Airport.
Could stand for cleavage.
That's true.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a brand that I would say in the industry as a whole is probably not underrated, not overrated. I think people would think they're pretty appropriate from where they are currently. And I think I'd have to agree. I think they're appropriate for the marketplace and I really like their stuff. I haven't really seen too many like new releases out from them actually at all in this recent year. Maybe I'm crazy and I just don't pay attention to the news enough, which I don't think is the case. But I like their stuff, man. I like the use of Honduran. They do Honduran tobacco, like the whole, Christian Aurora and the JRE factory and like all that tobacco Aladino, like they utilize Honduran in ways that no one else does. And for me, that's awesome because those cigars are fantastic. So I'm going to say appropriate.
I think
almost underrated.
I'll say appropriate too.
Let's not end on that one. We got to end on another one. That one was just kind of like middle of the road, Let's see here. All right. Oh, we already done. Oh, Jesus. Fuck me.
You asked for it. You asked for it, and the fucking gods delivered. They answered your calling.
I've already had a rough week. Why does it do this to me?
So the brand,
spinning wheel of torture.
The last one, which is needless to say, exactly what we predicted was going to be a fucking downer to the end of the episode, is Kristoff Cigars.
Yeah, it's weird. There's like one Kristoff I like, and that's the Maduro. I kind of like the pissed off Kristoff, but the rest of them are super fucking subpar. Just not a brand I've ever really liked getting behind. I don't think they really do a lot for their own brand anyway. It just doesn't seem like there's a huge push for them in the marketplace. They just kind of exist. You know what I mean? Like in the realm of cigars, they're just kind of there.
And in some shops, they're kind of pricey.
Dude, and some they're really pricey, which is crazy to me because there isn't a Kristoff in the world that I think should be more than $8. So yeah, it's like, I think they had a couple good ones. I really did like the Kristoff Maduro, not the Maduro Ligero, just the Maduro.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that cigar a lot.
Yeah.
But it's not one that I feel can, in a solo effort, carry the entire brand. Because if I look at everything else in the lineup, I just go,
eh. Yeah. I think it's a bit overrated.
Yeah.
And just kind of there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's like they occupy a space in the cigar world, but it's not one where they're like making a whole lot of cool noise.
Yeah.
They just literally exist, which is super strange, honestly.
You know what I'm starting to feel like now, bro? It's that scene in fucking Hook where Robin Williams is Peter Pan is like meeting Tinkerbell and she's like flying around the fucking room. He's like,
that's what it looks like. You know what's really hilarious is there's no blinds on that window, so for anybody who's walking by, is just
there's a fucking light just going
watching you fucking flicker a light around. They're like, what the fuck's going on up there? Who's sending the SOS message from fucking across the street?
Lingardium Leviosa. Oh wait, Luminosa.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. So I think we're both in agreement that Kristoff wouldn't be a very overrated brand.
I think Kristoff would be pissed off at this review that we gave him.
Yeah. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are going to disagree with us.
Do you feel like we're being just a little harsh when our answers come so quickly for some of our reasoning or for some of our decisions? It's just kind of like, you know, you kind of want to be respectable, right? For the shit you're saying.
Yeah, but you want to be genuine too.
But some of them just come so natural. It's just like, yeah, it's just shit.
Yeah, just fucking listen. I mean, you know, we're saying what we're saying based upon opinion, but I don't think that there's a whole lot of people that, I'll put it this way. There's other people out there that share our opinions about that. We wouldn't, this would not be a solo effort. I doubt suggesting any one of these things about any one of these brands. There's not a single human being or soul out there that, you know, doesn't disagree with us, and everybody's like adamantly against our position. I think for the most part, people would be with us. That's like some Jeeper Creeper shit.
Like,
so weird.
I'm having too much fun with the dark.
You know, the best part is like anyone listening to this is probably like, what the fuck is going on? So I would suggest watching this on YouTube, because then you'll actually understand the comical. All right. I think we could probably end it there. I think I'm pissed off the fact that we ended with Kristoff. But you know, we can't, the train can't keep going forever.
That's true.
There's only so many brands that we can rifle through. So
this will come to an end at some point.
This will come to an end eventually, and then we'll make our way into the owners, which will be very funny.
What if we fucking did like publication sites?
So funny. Yeah, we could certainly do like a kind of a roast the owner type thing, which would be hilarious.
Yes.
I often thought that would be really funny when we have owners of brands on, is that we spend the first 5 minutes roasting them. Like you and I actually come up with material like they would in roasts, and then actually read it. I think that would be so fucking funny. But I'm not that clever comedically, so I would have to have someone do it for me and then just read it.
Maybe I'll call John Mulaney, my friend, and tell him to write for me.
John Mulaney's in rehab.
Really?
Yeah.
For what?
drugs, Chris. Jesus Christ. You didn't know that?
No, what type of drugs?
Well, he was like a cocaine fucking head for the longest time. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was right. John Mulaney in rehab for cocaine and alcohol abuse. This was published December 21st, 2020.
I mean, most people are in this day and age with 2020.
Yeah, comedian John Mulaney is checked into rehab for 60 days for alcohol and cocaine addiction. A source exclusively confirmed to Page 6 that the 38-year-old golden boy of comedy checked into Pennsylvania rehab facility this past weekend. So right before Christmas.
He's got a wife.
Yeah, he does. I didn't know that you didn't already know that he had issues with drugs in his past.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him and you go, well, there's no way that guy was ever on drugs because he looks like a dork. But yeah, he was. And he's back. So find someone else other than John Mulaney. I know I love him as a comedian. He's fucking hysterical. But yeah, total bummer, right?
Wait, did you hear that? It sounded like it came from down the hall. What's your name? Are you here to hurt us?
Oh, I did hear something.
Were you murdered here?
Is that Quincy?
That totally was.
My dog, for sure. That's funny. All right. Let's get out of this fucking shit show of an episode. Hopefully next week we'll be back at you with the interview that we intended on having this evening. Again, a little bummed that didn't occur, but you know, sometimes you got to call an audible. Hint, hint for our guest. Sometimes you got to call an audible.
Yep.
But yeah, I love doing overrated, underrated. So this was good. Check out our show sponsor, My Cigar Pack, www.mycigarpack.com. Where at one time I'd be able to tell you could still get the Dongers Knockout, but you can't anymore. It's sold out. Will it become a regular production item? I don't know. People are calling for it. It may become a part of a regular production series. We don't know. We don't know what we're going to do with it yet. It depends on the fandom, you know, whether or not people really call out for it. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But nonetheless, you can check out mycigarpack.com. Multiple subscription packs, different styles and variations. They have their factory direct add-ons, which is what our Dongers Knockout was a part of. This month's December's pack, which I believe you can buy these in a solo effort as well, was a Caldwell Takeover. I've not yet got into the pack, mostly because it arrived 3 weeks fucking late. Thanks, USPS. But I plan on smoking some of the Caldwell stuff with the Lost and Found stuff. So you can get those packs, and you can use our promo code at checkout, HOT10 at checkout, for $10 off your first pack.
Sounds great.
It is great. You can also check out our reviews and everything else on our website, www.hotticketweekly.com. We posted our first review of the year, which was last week's episode, which is the Warped Maestro del Tiempo, the 610 2R, 610, something like that. We just released that huge score, kind of fucking just launched us right into 2021. We scored that thing at 92 collectively, which is crazy. But you can check out that review. We'll have other reviews published once Chris figures out how to fix the site.
Yep.
Which hopefully will happen soon. And we're going to be loading some reviews on the website as we move forward throughout this year. So check that out as well. Chris, anything you want to add to the end of the episode, or are you just going to sit there and fucking make ghost figures on the wall all night?
I see a little silhouette of a man. Gotta move when you do the fandango. Sometimes very, very frightening me. And let me go. I don't know nobody like me. Family, very life, it definitely looks like the Queen cover. Oh shit, I'm done.
It didn't sound anything like it. All right. Well, that'll end this episode. This episode 182. We'll be back at you guys next week with episode 183. See you, everyone.